Reviews are based on my opinion. I will change the score as I deem fit because I am subjective like that. Also, minor spoilers may occur during reviews. For example, if someone farted during a scene, I might mention it, but I will never mention who farted and how they did so. That is a terrible example, but it's about farts, so I don't care. Major spoilers will be discussed after the final verdict, but there will be a warning before it starts. So let's get right into the review.
I'm Diana of Themyscira.
Before she was Wonder Woman, she was Diana, Princess of the Amazons, trained to be an unconquerable hero raised on a sheltered island paradise. When a pilot crashes on their shores and tells of a massive conflict raging in the outside world, Diana leaves her home convinced she can stop the threat. Fighting alongside men in a war to end all wars, Diana will discover her full powers and her true destiny. Gal Gadot starring as Wonder Woman, I can do an entire review purely based on the fact on how truly amazing she is. Chris Pine as Steve Rogers, which after this movie is on my top 5 list of favorite male actors, and other famous faces like David Thewlis, or as some people might know him, and I know him, Professor Lupin from the Harry Potter movie. Hello everybody, so I will start by saying, spoiler alert, it is a fantastic film, so much so that I went to watch it twice. For me it is the best DC cinematic universe to date. It even triumphs over a lot of the Marvel movies. I am going to be honest, before this movie I knew next to nothing of our Amazon princess. I knew the basics, and even after the movie I still have a large Wonder Woman knowledge gap. Being a bigger Marvel fan in general, this movie actually convinced me to care more about the DC universe and to invest a lot more time in knowing the Woman of Wonder better. I have always been a big comic fan of both Marvel and DC. It's just Wonder Woman never interested me as much until now that I know what a total badass she can be and is. Wonder Woman managed to be a better Captain America than Captain America himself was in his own first film. For the first time I enjoyed a DC movie more than most Marvel movies to date. And that is a big achievement in my book. They did, however, change her powers a bit, like one or two things, but it happens in most comic book movies, and in this case it wasn't a very obvious change, so it didn't ruin her character. They stuck to the character we know in the comics. I'm looking at you, X-Men, I'm looking at you. It managed to keep me interested throughout and I was not bored once. As serious as the movie was at times, they still managed to make the movie fun. Steve's crew that travels with them is also a likable bunch, even though the marksman sucks at sniping, so he gets no headshots, he's a total noob. The fighting scenes are memorable moments, as it is done in a very cool way. At some points, they would go into slow-mo to show everyone how she is just kicking the living shit out of everybody, on a different level. There are other deeper topics that I want to go into, like Diana seeing the darkest parts of humanity, that I will talk about in the spoiler discussion after the final verdict. There are, however, things that I wish they could have explored more, like Diana's time in the city. Some of the best moments in the movie are Diana's short yet fun adventure in the 20th century London, which is also her first interaction with the outside world. The chemistry between Gal and Chris was what made my liking in the movie so much more. To be honest, Gal alone would have been able to do so. Her smile could have been on the screen for a few hours and I would have given the movie full marks.
Is there anything else you want to show me?
Anyways, back on topic. Apart from the fact that I watched the movie twice, I genuinely could have sat there for at least 2 more hours. Because that is how much I enjoyed it and I really wished they made the movie longer, even if it was only by 30 minutes. Introducing the world to Wonder Woman could not have been done in a better way, and it makes one look forward to seeing her again in Justice League. She is clearly a force to be reckoned with. So, my final score. Good things about the movie, of course. Gal Gadot. The fighting scenes were done excellent. I was not bored once. The acting is great, obviously, in my opinion. Chris Pine's scenes at the end is just brilliant, and I will discuss that in the spoilers. A decent plot twist at the end, which is also discussed in the spoilers, and that theme song is just done in such a satisfying yet good way. The bad stuff. Ares looked like a cheap God of War knockoff. I wanted it to be longer than 3 hours, and some CGI at the end was not that great. Now let us put these numbers together. So the good, there are 7 stuff. The not so good, there are 3 stuffs. So that makes a total of 10, and which means a 7 out of 10 is what this movie is. That makes it 70%. I am not happy with that. So what I will be doing is give Gal Gadot in this movie a 3 instead of a 1. So that makes the score 9 out of 10. So my final verdict for this movie is a 90%. And I can positively say that Wonder Woman puts the Wonder Woman in Wonder Woman.
Yep, that's not gonna work. Please put the sword down.
It doesn't go with the outfit.
At all.
So the first thing I want to discuss for the spoilers was that speech that Chris Pine gave Wonder Woman at the end of the film before his death. It was a very emotional moment, and it actually made the whole picture of humanity so clear, and it was, I don't know, it was just very touching. And I know it sounds simple the way I discuss it now, but it's literally, you have to see it to actually feel that emotion. It's just ridiculous. And then before in his last moments in that plane, he gave this, like, it was a short smile that he gave, like, I think it was crying while smiling, that it literally made the waterworks come out of my eyes, because obviously I had something in my eye. It was not because I was crying. I am not a sissy, but just that scene alone made him a way better actor than I actually believed him to be, and I already thought he was a really great actor. And also another thing, another spoiler, well, it's a kind of a spoiler, but during the movie, Diana experiences humanity in its worst possible forms. I mean, she sees war, she sees people lying, people dying, but Steve also said to her, we cannot save everybody. We need to decide who to save, and that obviously hit home for her very well. It did not hit home. It was difficult for her because she is pure of heart, and the world, she, what do you say? It's black or white for her. There's no gray areas, as they would say. But his death at the end, the way he did it, sacrificing himself to save the world, basically restored that faith Diana had in humanity. And that is so fantastic to see how that is part of her discovering her true self and her powers, which is totally badass. But in the end, that is why she triumphed over Ares, is because the sacrifice he made was just, well, it was too good. And obviously she lost the person that I think she loved. I don't know, she never said it, but whatever. Then another thing, Sir Patrick Morgan being Ares was a very cool plot twist. I really didn't expect it. I actually thought that the Poison Lady would be Ares, because I never believed the German guy to be Ares from the beginning. And it was a nice plot twist, but he could have been a lot more of a badass chaos wrecker. In fact, he was a total sissy. I think if Kratos from God of War saw him, he would have been ashamed. He really would have been ashamed to see what the world has come to if that was the God of War. But anyways, guys, that will do it for the review. Look out for the next review for whatever good movie comes out next that I will be watching. As always, до свидания.